If you need immediate help, please call the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP.
Bottle of wine, fruit of the vine. When you gonna let me get sober? Let me go home and start over.
Welcome to Clean and Sober Radio. Brought to you in part by Jefferson University Hospitals and Thomas Jefferson University, providing excellent clinical and compassionate care in the Philadelphia region. A proven leader in healthcare and education since 1825. And now, here are your hosts, Gary Hendler and Mark Sigmund.
Hey, hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us, and welcome to Clean and Sober Radio. Clean and Sober Radio features real people with real stories about addiction to drugs and alcohol. We're a 501c3 nonprofit organization that empowers people and families who are dealing with drug and alcohol addiction to solve their problems and help those who cannot. We do it through direct advocacy, broadcasting, and maintaining a database of recovery centers and related information. And Mark and I always like to say this at the beginning of the show. Remember, there are no drive-thrus. There are no delivery services to get into recovery, but what is available are a host of resources for you, and we are also here to help you through that process. Mark Sigmund, what's new in recovery news this week?
So everybody heard about the drug bust earlier this week out of Penn State, where 14 people were busted for having a cocaine trafficking ring. Agostino Abatillo was arraigned this week, and he is allegedly the ringleader of the cocaine trafficking operation. And more information is coming out about him. Abatillo, who is from Westbury, New York, had failed to appear for his scheduled arraignment on Monday. He was later taken before a judge and denied bail. Also, court documents allege that Abatillo made tens of thousands of dollars in profits from drug transactions. One co-defendant reportedly told investigators that he purchased more than $50,000 worth of cocaine from Abatillo. And the other thing about it is they were taking payments on Venmo. Can you believe it, Gary?
I also read an article today, Mark, where people that did not pay him back, he made them deliver the coke to other customers. I read that today.
And I heard he was making the pledges at the fraternity actually package the cocaine. So this goes real deep right now, and they're facing years and years in prison.
Right, and there was a father of one of them that was involved in the cover-up, and he's an attorney.
Yes.
That's a crazy story. How about this one? We mentioned this last week. Brad Pitt returns to drinking. Brad Pitt went several years without a drink. Then he started again, carefully, he said, on his own terms. So, you know what? I don't care if he uses or doesn't use. This is the problem with these famous people who are in recovery, and they know it all, and then they go out, and then the rest of us say, you see, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's exactly why the anonymity tradition was made in AA for situations like this. And again, if you read about it, Pitt is already saying that he's stumbled and taken too much at times. So he sounds like, he could be heading for some big problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, listen, we're going to go to a break in a little bit, and I wanted to set this up. We're all aware, hopefully, looking back, Mark, the damage that we caused to our parents. But you know what? Rarely do we acknowledge or discuss the damage that we caused to our siblings. I very rarely hear that. So when we come back, we have a brother and a publicly recognized sister in the studio to discuss this topic, but we're not going to tell you their names until we come back, all right?
Sounds good to me.
We'll be right back.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hi, this is Bobby Rydell, and you're listening to Clean and Sober Radio.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
Welcome back to Clean and Sober Radio. You can always enjoy this show on these stations: WWDB AM 860 in Philadelphia, WPEN 97.5 FM High Def 2 Philadelphia, WGAC AM 580 Augusta, Georgia, WNBR 1010 Tampa, Florida, WMNB FM 107.1 Massachusetts. I'm not going to go through the rest of the list, but Augusta, Georgia, that's where James Brown's from. I just want to make that clear to everybody. Okay, so we are back. I'm really excited about this show for several reasons. I know our guest really well. We have never in 13 years have had a brother and sister on this show. We had twin brothers.
We did.
We had twin brothers, but never a brother and a sister. And I'm glad you guys came. Our guests today are Randy Winder and his sister Jamila Winder. And if the names sound familiar, hopefully you don't know Randy's past, but Jamila's past. Jamila is the chair of the Montgomery County, Pennsylvania Board of Commissioners, which is a pretty hefty job, and it's the boss. And her brother Randy is in almost 3 years recovery, did time, and now has an incredible story moving forward. And I'm going to let you tell it as we get through this. But, it's interesting to see. It sounds like my sister and myself, she never did anything wrong, and yet I was locked up all over West Philadelphia, so it's the same kind of theme. So you never know. And by the way, the Siamese twins, the twins that we had on, I can't stand I do that. One became an identical twin. One became a professor, and one became a heroin addict. Wow. Amazing stuff. So, guys, welcome to this show. Jamila, I'm glad you're back.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah.
I had so much fun the first time. I'm back.
Good. Yeah. So let's talk about, I want to get the dynamics of your family, what it was like for each of you. Randy, tell us, just give us a little background. What was your perception of how you grew up?
There's a lot of childhood factors that go into substance use disorder, right?
Yeah.
Trauma, parents not in the home, incarcerated parents, but that wasn't my story, our story at all. I had a really good upbringing, a really good family, 2-parent home, two great examples of what it meant to be positive, hardworking adults, and my mother and father, who we both lost over the last couple of years in my journey in sobriety. So rest in peace to them.
Yes.
I wouldn't be sitting here today with Jamila without their guidance and presence, and I know they're still looking over us today. But we had a great home. We went on vacations every year. Not only did we have the things that we wanted, not only did we have the things that we needed, but we all got a lot of the things that we wanted, activities, church. We had a grandmother that lived to 105 years old. That was a major factor in our life growing up. And then we just had a great all-American upbringing. There was no sort of major things that you may be able to point to that would say, oh, this is what happened in the family dynamic that would lead to one of us having a substance use disorder or any criminal justice interaction.
Jamila, was that pretty much your overview of childhood?
Yeah, I always say we were like the Cosbys before
Bill Cosby.
Right.
Bill Cosby.
Yeah, like he said, two loving parents, great upbringing. But what we've learned later is that there was a history of substance use in the family. But by all accounts, we were very blessed to have 2 loving parents and grew up in suburbia, and both of us had the same experience with both parents.
Right. So I grew up not with the Cosbys, but with Leave It to Beaver. That was
Okay.
one of those shows.
You're a little bit ahead of us, generational.
But it does show you it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Right? It doesn't matter. So you educated yourself, right? High school,
yeah. Our parents were very strict about our attendance in high school. We always had perfect attendance.
Are you sure you had perfect attendance?
For the most part,
okay.
yeah. For the most part,
That's what's great about having a brother and sister.
Here we go, Mark.
Okay, I think I had
the whole story.
We never got pats on the back for good grades because that was the expectation. We were expected to do well in school.
The bar was set high for you guys, right?
Yeah, it was. Growing up in our household, the goal was you do well in school, you respect your elders, you appreciate your educational foundation, you go to college and you get a job with your college degree. That was always the...
And your both parents worked. Your dad was a warden at the state penitentiary at Graterford, right?
Yeah, he worked in the Department of Corrections from a CO all the way up to deputy superintendent.
Right. And did your mom work?
Yes.
She was a guidance counselor in Philadelphia Public Schools. So the expectation was not only set because that was the foundation, but she also saw in her work as a guidance counselor at Martin Luther King what happens in families, and she wanted to protect us from that.
Did your dad ever come to you, Randy, and say, "Come to work. I'm going to show you what's going to happen to you if you stray"?
He did. I spent a lot of weekends going up to SCI Gratersford.
Yeah.
Even the experience of going actually onto a cell block. It wasn't populated at the time. It was under construction. But I remember going through the metal detectors, going in his office, being in hallways of the prison. I mean, never around any inmates, obviously, but he said to me one time, if you make bad decisions, this is where you'll end up.
Absolutely true. So you graduated high school. What were your group of friends like?
I had I had friends that were, highly intellectual friends, all the way to the ones that were doing a lot of drinking and partying on the weekend.
Yeah.
All my friends ran the gamut. I didn't have like one group of friends. In substance use, we tend to be chameleons, right? We try to we change our mask and we go, wherever we can change our mask for whatever group that we were in. So I didn't have like one group of friends, but I always gravitated towards those that were, partying and doing things that, people in high school probably shouldn't be doing.
Were you a people pleaser?
Definitely was a people pleaser.
We say here, you had friends like I did from Yale to jail, man.
Exactly.
Right? The whole gamut.
Exactly.
But we gravitated towards the shaky ones.
Yes.
So when did you start to use? And what did you start to use? And why do you think you started to use?
I think I started to use just to fit in. There was a group of individuals that, when Jamila said we grew up in suburbia, we grew up in East Norton, Pennsylvania. Yeah. So that was, the outskirts of Norristown. But there was like a group of individuals that were in the more urban areas that were smoking weed and hanging out. And I wanted to be part of that group.
Let me just clarify for our listeners who aren't from around here. Norristown is in Montgomery County, which is a county that actually touches Philadelphia County. So that's the closeness to that.
Yeah. So it was definitely to fit in at first. And then once it started with marijuana, a little bit of alcohol. And I remember the first, probably 16 or so, maybe a little bit younger, when it became like a normal thing or a regular thing. And I just liked the feeling.
How old were you?
16.
So, Jamila, how old were you at that point? You're a couple years old?
So there's a 5-year age.
5 years.
So I was 21.
Did you start to see stuff, or were you in your own world?
No, I was in my own world.
Yeah.
I went off to college. And
Where'd you go? Where'd you go to school?
We both went to Penn State. My dad graduated from Penn State. And
can I tell you something? I think I told you this before we started. My whole family went there. My father would tell my sister and me the greatest years of his life were at State College.
814.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
I'd agree.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah.
It was really
what went on there? I mean,
some stuff with this article we just read, right?
You're right. You're right.
I was not into, it's funny, I didn't drink until I actually went to college. So just polar opposite in terms of the things that I was doing when I was in high school. But Penn State just was a great experience. Just so many different groups of friends. Like I still have friendships to this day. I was in a sorority. I was on a radio show at Penn State. If you want me to take over for you one day, I'm happy to do
Mark,
it.
I'm the guy,
later,
by
Mark.
the way. I've been hanging on by a thread for a while.
Yeah. So you guys were not at school at the same time.
We were not,
because
no.
of the spread of the 8 years. So, but did you hear were your parents saying to you, Jamila, your brother, what's he doing with his?
No, not at all. Like he was able to hide it. So if he was dabbling, like my parents didn't know about it. Maybe my dad was suspicious because he was just always a suspicious guy. But no, like he was like, always had good grades. I was the one that was average, right? Like I didn't like school. I was like held back in second grade because I socialized too much.
Really?
I mean, yeah. So, and even at Penn State, would you graduate Penn State with like a
3.67?
I graduated with a 2.7. I was like, that's a B. That's a B minus.
I never
I mean, I
saw.
still
I never even
graduated,
saw
right?
grades
Still
like
got
that.
the degree.
Did you?
What was that?
You had like a 1.3?
No. I did pretty well. I had like a 2.8, I think.
That is a
2.8?
B minus.
B-
2.8 is
there
a
we
B
go.
minus.
I didn't fail out of
2.67.
law school, man. That's
I failed out of law school, but I got into law school.
that's a good point. It's a good
You know?
point.
So, all right. So you guys, so high school, you were at college while he was in high school.
Correct.
So you didn't see what was going on in the house?
No.
Do you think any of his addiction, I know later on, affected you, but you didn't see it younger years. You were doing your thing at Penn State. He's in high school. You're carrying on, but with good grades. So you can't say, look at me. I'm getting good grades. I can't be that bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think high school through college, part of the drive to get good grades was to hide what was going on deep down inside.
Yeah.
You know, as some people with substance use disorders will do anything to not be discovered. I mean, and there was an innate drive of hard work in me as well. Like I wanted to succeed and I wanted to do well, but there was also a darker side that wanted to be involved in these other things as well.
Wow, it's such a conflict.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Did you ever have experiences like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I remember thinking to myself, well, if I can use drugs and still do okay in school, I'm good. Right. Did you have that same kind of thinking?
Yeah, I had that same thing. And I think a lot of us, the term addict or abuser was never, I was like, I'm doing these things and I'm getting internships and I'm writing at the school newspaper and I'm giving presentations and I'm doing well and my parents are proud and I'm making dean's list every semester. Like, I don't really see where the problem, at that time, I didn't see, the intersection of the problem at the time.
Isn't that amazing that we form this alibi system in our own head?
That's a good word.
Which is like, I'm good still, right? And
yeah. Hey, if you're just joining us now, you want to be part of the conversation. We're here with Randy and Jamila Winder. An incredible story, brother and sister, same privileges, same house. Like a lot of people, one went one way and one went the other. Give us a call at 610-632-8601. That's 610-632-8. I did it again.
87. Well, this is when somebody out in the community starts getting phone calls. Is this Clean and Sober Radio? I mean, yes.
I'll do it again.
I'll put it on here too.
Mark, why don't you do it? Okay.
If you have a question or you want to give us a call and reach out, tell us about your own experience with addiction in the family. Our number is 610-632-8601. That's 610-632-8601.
And if you're listening to this conversation and you're starting to say, hey, this sounds familiar to me, or it sounds familiar with a friend of mine, please get in touch with the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Hotline at 1-800-662-HELP. That is 1-800-662-HELP. And somebody who is trained will absolutely answer the phone and try to get you the resources that you need. And Mark, you have another special number.
Very important number. That is 988 Suicide Hotline. But also, if you're having a mental health crisis, call that number and there will be a caseworker that will talk you through it. 988.
And we know that addiction and mental illness go hand in hand. There's, when I was coming up, it was separated. The drug, the addiction people were in one place, and the mentally ill were in another.
Yeah, and we call it co-occurring disorders, and they both affect each other. And I've had a lot of people that struggled with relapse for years and didn't realize they had an underlying mental health issue, and then they were able to get better when they were finally properly diagnosed.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing.
It's really tricky because, again, it's like somebody early recovery, everybody's got mood swings and things like that. And it's like, how do you distinguish it? Did you run into any of that, like in your early recovery, like mental health issues or mood swings or?
Yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of it was induced by the substances, and once you start to abuse those substances for an amount of time, I think mental health just becomes the depression, the anxiety, especially if you're trying to get off them or abstain from them or, try to gain some long-term recovery. I think mental health is a huge challenge for this population.
Randy, what was your drug of choice?
Opiates.
Opiates.
Yes.
How did you start on those?
Friends.
It wasn't an accident.
Started out with like dibbling, dabbling friends in high school, and benzodiazepines.
Yeah.
Was a big part of my story.
Okay.
But the harder substances didn't really get bad until I graduated college. I did have a pretty bad ankle sprain when I was living in Colorado, and that I started getting some prescriptions for months and months at a time, and that sort of was really what started to propel the opiate use.
Jamila, I'm watching you watch your brother, and what is that like to see him now on an incredible journey, on the absolute right path, doing everything right? What are your feelings when you're, because he's talking, I see you looking at him, I'm just wondering, you must be so proud of him.
Oh, no, definitely proud. You know, I never predicted that we would be here because it was just such a long and challenging journey. So I could just sit here and watch him all day. I mean, that's just how I'm feeling about that.
Did your parents get to see him in recovery?
They did. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like it's like there was a period of time where we weren't even talking, right? And because it got so bad and the influence that it had on just the family dynamic and my mom, I had to just kind of step away. I was a new mom myself at the time, and there was a period of time that we didn't talk. And I remember, like, when you called and told me that you got, like, and he could tell that's part of the story, got sentenced on drug-related charges. My mom had been sick at the time. And I just made a commitment to myself, like, God forbid something ever happened to my mom while he was away, I'd never forgive myself. So we both worked to repair that relationship.
You would never forgive yourself or forgive Randy?
No, forgive myself. Like, if I didn't, like, set my feelings aside, knowing that my mom was sick and he was away, if I didn't facilitate, like, getting my mom up to Greataford in her wheelchair to see him when he was in town for, like, awaiting trial, or just setting up the video calls so that my mom and dad could talk to him. So, I mean, I remember it was Valentine's Day. You called me and it was like, I got an 18 to 36 month sentence, and I hadn't talked to him in probably a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom was, like, sick in a rehabilitation center at that time. So,
yeah,
I mean, I venture to say, having gone through this, that the disease of addiction is sometimes harder on the family than it is on the person going through it. I mean, we obviously go through it, but for family members that are really truly powerless in helping their loved one, I would, now that I'm on this side, I would venture to say that's probably a challenge that I don't even know how I could.
Let me ask you a question. When you were going through your addiction, did you care what you were doing to your parents? I didn't.
At first, probably.
Yeah.
But it's just such a powerful thing. It just starts to take over so much of your decision making, your moral compass. Everything becomes about the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if does it mean I have to take this out of my mom's jewelry box to get the next one?
Yep.
Then so be it. If it means I have to take this card to get to where I need to go, then so be it. I mean, everything's on the table as far as it relates to trying to get the next one. Once you get that deep in the substance,
I think lay people who, for the small amount who have no connection to any of this, they can't even fathom that thought process. And it was so natural to the three of us.
Yeah, well, the list of I nevers got smaller and smaller as the disease got bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like when you finally, when you had to go to prison and things cleared up? Because, like, that's that experience. It's like you're in a fog kind of, and then finally you get clean and your feelings start coming back and all that. What was that like for you when it started to clear?
I tell it, a lot of people in our population are anti-authority, anti-criminal justice system, but I can say that the justice system probably saved my life. There was the judge who actually gave me that sentence. I still must remember that sentence and hearing word for word, because it was in that moment, and it was what that judge said to me that was what started to propel me toward, this is the time when I need to get this together.
So, our audience are people that are just listening, and then there are people that are just watching. I guess they're listening if they're watching. So we want to recognize some of the people that are watching right now that had the guts to program their names in here. Debbie Reynolds, have a great show. Judge Christopher Maddox, have a great show and weekend from Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania. Debbie Reynolds, Central California. James Bilderback, hello from Ventnor. Gary and Mark, enjoying the show. Have a great weekend. Stephen Sussman, hello from Palm Beach Gardens. And Stephen is one of these twins that we spoke about, and he's very. We had them both on the show, and he's even though David has passed, Stephen is very a big supporter of us,
and our encyclopedia.
And if we have a question, Stephen Sussman, he's a professor. He
Yep.
knows.
He knows the answer.
He knows
He
the
does.
answer. Okay, let's do this. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our talk about siblings and addiction. We'll be right back.
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to outscience cancer.
This is Elvin Bishop, and I listen to Clean and Sober Radio.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
Welcome back to Clean and Sober Radio. We're having a great discussion with the brother and sister team, Randy and Jamila Winder, and it's interesting stuff. I wanted to tell you something. I've got an email or a text or whatever you call it this week from Gabby. Who's the guy, Reisman, that was on the talk show here? Do you remember him? Reisman? Okay. He said he sent a message after the promo went out and said, the show Clean and Sober Radio is the most important show on WWDB.
Wow.
That was nice.
Thank you very much for that comment.
That was pretty cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. Also, we get emails during the week, Mark and myself. And here's a couple of them. Harold B. from Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. Best content on the show today. Family means everything when it comes down to it.
It really does, right? And it's a family disease, like we talk about.
Let me give you another one. Dana F. from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay, what's the truth? My son says that he will go to rehab if they let him use his medical marijuana there. What's the deal, Mark?
Well, this is a tough subject. I mean, most rehabs will not let you, but there are a few out there, and sometimes you have to meet somebody where it's at and where they're at. You know, I don't know any of the history, so I don't want to really get into that clinically with them. But sometimes if they'll go because of that, you might as well at least let them plant some seeds in there.
Well, that's like, decades ago, there was, in rehabs, there was no MAT at all. You couldn't have anything. Now, I think a couple started, the other ones wanted the business too, and I think they also figured out through science that it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Randy?
100%. Medication for opioid use disorder has helped decrease the amount of fatal overdoses. I mean, that's been proven. So, yeah. But I remember 10 years ago, you couldn't get into a recovery house setting. It was high barrier for the insurance companies for you to get access to it. It was a very limited resources for a very small percentage of the substance use population. But, and there's still in traditional 12-step meetings, there's still some anxiety around MAT, but I see it every day in the healthcare setting that it saves a lot of lives and helps propel a lot of people to recovery.
Just you saying, I see it every day in healthcare.
So fancy. So fancy.
Right?
I'm like, yeah.
It's like,
no, it's
is
good
this
to
really Randy?
This is Randy.
And he's exactly right. Like, as healthcare professionals, like, we'd be stepping over bodies. I mean, if we didn't have MAT with fentanyl out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be atrocious, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, and definitely, and Philadelphia would be one of the epicenters of the opioid epidemic, and the contaminants that they're putting into the drug supply now. I mean, probably the substances that we all were using years ago aren't nearly the same as what the cutting agents they're using now, veterinary sedatives and all these things. Xylazine, medetomidine.
Yeah.
He
got it.
It's creating a high level of stress on all healthcare systems in Philadelphia, and it's starting to work its way out as well. But
I have a friend who's an emergency doctor at Jeff, and he said we're basically now a rehab. I mean, the people come in, we stabilize them, and then we throw them out. There's nothing else to do here anymore. He says that's 80% of what's coming through an emergency room now.
Yeah, and I know Jefferson has they have an addictions consult team down at Jefferson because we work with them. But I know at the University of Pennsylvania and Penn Medicine, we have where I work, the Center for Addiction Medicine and Policy. Penn has been very progressive in their approach to substance use disorder. They've hired people like myself and a lot of smart doctors, much smarter than myself.
Don't underestimate yourself. Okay?
But they've used a full-scale clinical care package to like help people with this disorder because they know there's a social component, there's a medical component, there's a physiological component. It's a complex disorder, and Penn's been very progressive with how they treat people with substance use disorder. But yes, people are coming in, especially in Philadelphia, they're coming in and waiting rooms and emergency rooms are being flooded with withdrawal management, people in like active withdrawal with the contaminants now. What it's doing to the brain, it's affecting the alpha-2 agonists, and it's creating all kinds of other medical complexities that are just fatal. People are actually dying from withdrawal, not necessarily just the substances now as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you graduate Penn State first, and then you graduate. Are you then sort of now living sort of near each other? Are you starting to watch what he's doing at this point?
No, I think
where were you?
I think why I grew in so much secret to my family was when I graduated college, I was working for a corporation, and I was in this rotational program, so I moved to D.C. for a year.
Okay.
Then I moved to Massachusetts for a year. Then I was in California for some time, and then I moved into Colorado for a couple of years. So they didn't have eyes on me, and if they did, it was for the holidays. So I was able to keep it away from them. From their eyesight for a pretty long time.
Did you remember, like at holidays, Christmas? Did you think when he came in?
No, I can remember vividly during that time the anger issues, right? Like I remember vividly, I was like in Colorado for a work trip, and we got into this like huge fight. Like it was just like the scale of the anger did not match what the argument was. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, I think you left me in the middle of Denver.
I forgot about that.
And yeah, right. But now that I'm like thinking about it, like those, like we used to like have sibling rivalry, but the fights used to get bigger and bigger, progressively worse in terms of like just us arguing.
Was that a result of his addiction,
or just the way I don't know.
He was just being a creep, all right?
I mean, we always like. That's
I think when your brain chemistry is being altered so much, and your ability to handle conflict, is diminished.
Sure.
Your maturation process gets, quelled a little bit. So. The ability to be a loving family member kind of goes out the window when you're only caring about getting the next whatever.
So you had like a geographical cure distance for all these people. You stayed away from them. Like you could do what it was almost like the first time you went to college. You could do what you wanted. Now you're older, out of college, and you're hiding. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hiding's the word, isn't it?
Yeah,
we all did it, right?
Addiction grows it in the dark, right?
Yeah.
And
that's a good one. Yeah.
But what happened? I was in Colorado. Then I took a job, and I don't think I've ever probably said this publicly. Back on the East Coast, just so I could be closer to more connections.
The cop man.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's when I moved back to the East Coast for that job.
Yeah,
that's when things really started to progress. That's when the first time my mother and father approached me about it.
Okay, so what was that like? So, do you remember the first time? I guess your parents or Jamila, what's going on here?
Yeah. Well, my mom started to suspect things because I would call home and ask for money. There were bills not getting paid, and they're like, "Wait, you're making more money than we've ever made,
right?
And you're 22, 23, 24 years old. What's going on?" But I think my mom knew what was going on, but the fear of finding out that your son has this issue probably like kept her from really addressing it. And my dad sort of just kind of played, in the background. But what happened when I actually was traveling out of the country, and I came back, and admittedly I was like evicted from an apartment because I wasn't keeping up on the rent.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to do what an addict does best: call mom and dad to come bail me out of the situation.
Was your dad his profession? He was a tough guy, right?
He was.
But was he? Well, how about with his kids?
He was firm, but I mean, I don't think he was.
My mom was the tough one.
My mom,
Your mom was the disciplinarian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had the same
And
situation.
Yeah.
My dad followed whatever my mom.
Right. But my dad always, like, because he had a brother that was an addict all his life. And so he would start to pick up on the patterns, but he really wouldn't, like, that probably was a rub between my mom and dad, because to his point, like, my mom probably didn't want to believe that he was addicted to substances. I remember I was traveling with grandma. We went to Switzerland for a vacation. And I remember vividly, I left that trip early because my mom called and said, your brother has a drug addiction, and was like so distraught. And I flew home from Switzerland. I remember leaving grandma there. And
really?
Yeah. Did you come home at that point? Yeah, I think you came home at that point. Yeah.
Like your family, it sounds like is so tight, which is awesome, and you mentioned we call it, the addicts in denial, but we also call it family denial, right? Where the parents don't want to see it. And I run into it a lot, where the parents, like, it's going on right there, and it's like blind to it,
And I think my mom, because my mom, had her time with using substances, but she wasn't one of us. She was able to say, "Oh, I got a job. I'm going to stop. I have kids. I'm going to stop.
Yeah.
Me, I get the job. I keep going. We keep going."
Yeah, sure.
But so I think she thought that this would just be a phase, not like an ongoing, a progressive and chronic thing that was just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Well, stigma in families.
Huge.
It's. I know in my when I went to rehab for 3 months. My mother told people I was in California on a training program.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm laughing, but it's true.
The other thing, the secrets in my family, when I got the pardon from the president,
right.
My mother said to me, "Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody." It was
And
on
then it
every
was on the
television
news.
station.
Then it was on the
But
news.
it was. I did such. What's the word? I traumatized my parents.
Yeah.
And didn't care until my daughter did it to me.
Interesting.
Did your mom see you on the news then? Like it was on the news eventually about the pardon.
They were dead.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm just saying what she would have done.
Oh, what she would have done. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. So we again, what we did to our parents, but again, what do we do to our brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
I have a sister, an older sister. I never thought anything about it. Nothing.
I mean, I always cared, but the disease won every single time. I mean, I would intrinsically care about what was happening to them.
Yeah.
But the desire to use was just, it got to a point that it just overtook everything.
So when the cat was out of the bag in your house, everybody, where were you? What was going on with you? You were
I had my
supportive
own-
of your
yeah.
parent? Were you angry at him or what?
Well, I mean, at first, I mean, I was going, when he went into rehab, I was at the family program. I was going to Al-Anon with my mom. But it got to a point where I just was tired of it because, his addiction and, I don't want to make him feel bad now, but his addiction took a lot of time away from my relationship with my mother, especially. I mean, it got so bad to a point, a couple years before my mom died, that I wasn't even talking to my mother. And my mother and I were so close. And I had my first child. So every woman wants to have that experience with their mother where their mother's there, but because she was kind of focused on her son, she really wasn't there for me in the way that I needed to. And then by the time she realized, or by the time he was kind of away, she got sick. Yeah. And so one of the things I've just been, actively just trying to reconcile is that I know that he was sick, right? I know that. But I resented my mom for a very long time. Even when she was sick, I had a hard time kind of turning that off because I was so mad at the dynamic between the two of them.
I can totally relate. I have 2 daughters. One of my wife and our focus was on the one that was having the most problems, not really considering the other one. Hey, hello, I'm here.
Right. I used to always say that to my mom. I'm like, I need my mom too.
Yeah.
But you're okay. You're fine.
Exactly.
But I'm like, I need you. Like, like I miss our shopping trips. I miss going out to eat with you. Like I miss the phone calls. And I mean, it got really toxic towards the end.
Jamila, when you said just now, I don't want to make you feel bad, Randy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the truth. I mean, it's
I know.
cool.
I know.
He's.
No, I know
I
he can take
understand
it.
why you
I
said it.
feel
I understand why you
because
said
I don't want to like we've grown so much. As siblings, like our relationship is the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
So part of it is like telling these stories help other people, but I also don't want to rehash some of the trauma because I mean it was like some pretty dark days. I remember like, and this is not but I remember after I had my son, he wrote me like a like a 10-page manifesto because he was so high, right? And I'm like, what did I ever do Yeah. But I know, and I believe in my heart that it was all the disease, and that was never, never his intent.
They say, hate the disease, not the person.
No. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I find it interesting. I'm like looking at you too, and I'm thinking of my sister and me, and like, there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
And you have 3 older brothers, right? 3 brothers.
I have 3 older brothers. And, I was actually thinking of when you guys were talking, because you said something there. You said that you guys are closer than ever now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, fighting this disease together, right? And how's that for you to see that you guys have gotten even tighter?
Well, we had to, right? Like both of our
Yeah.
parents died within the last two years back to back. And I remember after my mom died, he was like, I guess you're my mom now. And I'm like, oh, geez. Well, don't think that I'm going to, let you off the hook the way mommy did. But like we have a very small family. Like at the holidays now, it's really just us and our kids and my husband. So we know we have to kind of work through this together.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, Mike Burke writes here, what's MAT?
So MAT is medically assisted treatment, and it's like Suboxone,
Yeah, we know that.
Vivitrol.
I was surprised.
Yeah, not
Methadone.
not everybody knows the acronym. So I guess
I know. We still love you, Mike, okay?
he's probably sitting on the beach.
He probably is. Again, our number is 610-632-8601. Can we take the break now? Let's take a break and we'll
This is Clean and Sober Radio.
A cancer diagnosis can knock the wind out of you.
Yeah.
The
Tennis?
Sidney Kimmel
Tennis,
Cancer
tennis?
Center at Abington Jefferson Health can help. Our brand new Asplund Cancer Pavilion brings you 86,000 square feet of cancer-fighting science for truly comprehensive care. Backed by the strength of an NCI-designated cancer center. Call 1-800-JEFF now. The Sidney Kimmel Cancer Center at Abington Jefferson Health. The power to out-science cancer.
Hi, this is Randy the Blaze Lurch. I listen to Clean and Sober Radio.
610-632-8601. This is Clean and Sober Radio.
Welcome back to Clean and Sober Radio. If you're a first-time listener or viewer, Mark and I have been doing this show for about 13 years. Serious subject. We have a lot of fun doing it, and we hope that we help a lot of people see that there is hope and a good life after you get in the recovery.
Absolutely. And if anybody's sitting out there today struggling with addiction, get out of isolation, reach out for help. There is help out there, as we always say.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to get into recovery because I thought it'd be no more fun.
I was the same way. I don't know if you had that experience. I remember thinking, my life is over. I mean, it's such a strange thing. I was just talking to somebody today about that, where like they're starting to enjoy stuff again. It's so great to see. Did you have that same feeling? Like,
Yeah, I mean, my life had been so surrounded by substances and use and just that lifestyle, that not having that, I didn't know what that looked like for me after a while.
Scary.
But it looks a lot, but it's a lot better on this side. I can definitely say that.
Okay, so you get into treatment, you go through that, and you start to live in, I guess you call them halfway houses?
Recovery houses, sober living, yeah.
And you did that for several years, and it gave you a base.
Yes.
You went to meetings, you got a network of people. It gave you a base of how to live your life. And then recently you decided, you know what? I'm ready to move on. I'll tell you something. When you told me that, I really felt like you got it covered, man. You did what you had to do. It's time to move on and not get stuck. Because you can get stuck in all this stuff. But the idea of all this is to live a productive and happy life. That's the whole deal here. So tell us about, you made the decision to leave the recovery homes. And then what happened? What all this great stuff happened to you?
I mean, the great stuff started happening while I was in the recovery home. I mean, I owe a tremendous debt of gratitude to Unity Sober Living for giving me an opportunity to find my way and get engaged with alcoholics now, on a 12-step fellowship, get a sponsor, start working steps, get a home group, and be involved in my own recovery, because that was the foundation for the repairing of the relationship with Jamila, the regaining custody of my son, and starting to get some financial security. The recovery house is where that began, and I was also a house manager in the recovery house setting as well. That gave me some made me feel good. It gave me some things to some sense of achievement, if you will. For people early in recovery, life can look so bleak that those little things just started to build on each other. And then I worked at a trash company for 2 years. It wasn't a glamorous job, but it really taught me responsibility. It really taught me showing up when I didn't feel like showing up. It taught me life lessons that are very important. Sobriety will allow you some really good blessings, right? But if we miss the lesson before the blessing, sometimes we can't handle the blessing, right? And after working at that job for a couple of years, I was able to get an opportunity at University of Pennsylvania at the Center for Addiction Medicine and Policy, and we worked down in the hospitals and at Penn Medicine, and I was able to take some of the darkest times of my life and transform them into a career.
What do you do there? Tell us what you do there. It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's multifaceted. We have a hotline that we run. It's called the Penn Medicine Warm Line, which is a substance use hotline. Similar to the one you announced, and we get people same day access to treatment. Buprenorphine, we get them connected to care. Even if they're uninsured, we get individuals connected to care, even if they're uninsured as well. But not more importantly, but I also work in the hospital setting as well, in the emergency departments, providing bedside peer support to families and patients coming in, just having suffered overdoses or in withdrawal or things like that, and helping them, like I said, Penn Medicine is very progressive about how they treat. So it's not only medicine, but they provide social supports, and they hire someone like myself who's actually been a patient in that setting to help facilitate some of the care that goes on in
Randy,
the hospital.
do you know what the hotline number is? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do know the hotline number.
Okay.
The Penn Medicine Warm Line is, I should know this. I should
No,
know
it's
this.
fine.
I should know this
stuff
by
all
heart.
the time.
But I use it so much, and it is a really valuable resource. And the number is 484. I'm getting to it. I'm sorry.
All right, okay.
Yeah, 484-278-1679.
Say again.
484-278-1679.
And if somebody calls that number, what should they expect to happen?
They can expect somebody with lived experience or trained in substance use disorder to answer the phone and give them compassionate care, and we'll listen to whatever their situation may be. If they ran out of their medication, or they've missed their appointment, or they need to find a detox, or we provide Lyft transportation, we pay for prescriptions. We get people down into our emergency departments for assessments.
And these are not just students, correct?
No, these are professionals. These are people with lived experience, some in recovery, some not. Very, very, very highly qualified, highly capable individuals that triage a number of substance use related crises, if you will, and they're not all crises, but people that are just reaching out for help. Hey, my doctor was out of town this week and I missed my appointment, but I need my Suboxone because if I don't have it, I'll be sick and I don't want to return to you. So we get those sort of.
How do you get that number out? I've never heard of it. Is it published somewhere?
Yeah, well, it's on our website.
What, University of Pennsylvania's website?
Yeah, penncamp.org.
Okay.
There's a lot of resources about the new drug supply, what sort of resources we have. Another big thing we do a lot of research because we're a university, right? So universities do research, and we use a lot of the findings that we have to sort of outline how we give care to individuals. So it's a great resource.
You are the poster child for doing exactly what you're supposed to do in recovery.
Thank you.
And you're going to go a long way, man. You're
Thank
going to help
you.
a lot of people. That's the most important.
That's the goal.
Jamila, let's talk about your event that's coming up, Reflections on Recovery. Can you tell our audience what it's all about?
Yeah, so it's an event that we did for the first time last year during Recovery Month. And, you know, one of the things that I think is important in terms of my work as a commissioner is I have the power to convene. I have the power to bring people together to talk about important topics. And we have an office of drug and alcohol that does a lot of important work for our friends and neighbors. But I wanted to do something special during Recovery Month to talk about our family story. So this is our second one on September 9th at the Temple Ambler campus from 3 to 5. My brother and I will be sharing the stage with Congresswoman Madeleine Dean and her son, Harry, who have a similar journey to us. They're just probably about a decade ahead of where we're at. We want to be able to show during Recovery Month that recovery is possible, and we want to talk about our journeys to help give other people hope and show what's possible. And I know you're going to be moderating that event, which I'm so
honored.
excited that you're gonna do that for us. Just
Thank
don't
you.
trick me with any
There'll be no
tricky
trick.
questions.
There's no trick. It's Halloween is the only time there's tricks. Okay.
But it's an important event, and I encourage everyone to come if they're able.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I want to ask you one last thing.
Okay.
Do you have something you'd like to say to your brother?
Oh, so you're trying to make me cry? Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Go ahead. It's so sweet.
I
mean,
know,
you
it's
don't
so
want to-
sweet.
I watch you during the whole show.
I
I'm
know.
getting choked up.
I'm
actually.
getting, yes.
And I'm looking how you're looking at him.
Yeah. No, listen, I mean, it's been a hard journey. And I'm so proud of you, really. I miss mommy and daddy every day, but I think your recovery kind of helps make this journey without them that much easier. And I'm just really happy that I got my brother back. Really.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for making me tear up. I think he's crying more than I am.
It's okay.
So
It's good.
it was hard. It was hard. So yeah.
Hey, remember, if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, help is available. Please call 1-800-662-HELP. That's 1-800-662-HELP. For Clean and Sober Radio, I'm Gary Hendler.
I'm Mark Sigmund.
And we both thank you so much for the support that you give us each and every week on all the radio stations across the country. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Everybody wants to shine.
I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the group and ourselves. I hope we pass the auditioning.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the support. I hope you enjoyed the show today. And we'll see you next time.